Hey cruisers, I'm Sherry with CruiseTipsTV. Things are moving so fast. Things are getting so exciting. The cruise industry is all abuzz with news. We're going to focus on some very powerful and exciting cruise news stories today. We're going to keep it short and just simple. I think the biggest news this week, folks, is that we found out that the Alaska season is happening. It is true. The bill that has been moving through the process only has to go to President Biden. If that gets signed, the PVSA is temporarily waived for Alaska, which means that cruise ships can visit Alaska without having to stop in Canada for the time being. And to make us even more confident that this is going to happen, we had 3 cruise lines announce that they are returning later this summer to Alaska. They are all Carnival brand ships. It is Princess Cruises, Holland America, and Carnival Cruise Line have confidently come out and said, hey, it's happening, folks. You can book a ticket on one of our ships out of Seattle for this summer. So let's talk about some specifics here. Let's talk about Princess Cruises first. Probably need to disclose that I believe that all of these cruises will require that you're fully vaccinated. I'm going to talk more specifically about vaccination requirements for Princess because I have an email about it, but let's assume that these are going to have to be fully vaccinated cruises for right now. Princess Cruises plans to resume their Alaska cruises on July 25th, and they're going to run all the way through the summer season through September 26th, and they are bringing Majestic Princess over for these 7-night cruises visiting Glacier Bay National Park, Juneau, Skagway, and Ketchikan. This sounds just amazing to me. Holland America will also start up its Alaska season with 7-night itineraries on board New Amsterdam. Now, her itinerary is a little bit different. Juneau, Icy Strait Point, Sitka, and Ketchikan with scenic cruising in Glacier Bay and Stevens Passage. Sitka is a real treat if you haven't been yet, so that could be a fun one to choose if you're looking for something a little bit different. Now, Carnival also announced that they are going to be bringing Carnival Miracle over for an Alaska season as well. I don't have that start date with me right now, but we know it's happening and it's very, very exciting. So glad that Carnival is also going to be bringing a ship over. Oh, there's just so much to think about. Now, the question came up. What about kids on these sailings if they're under 12 and they can't be vaccinated? Well, here's what Princess is saying about that. They say, yes, these cruises to Alaska are available for guests who have received their final dose of an approved COVID-19 vaccine at least 14 days prior to the beginning of the cruise and have proof of vaccination in accordance with CDC guidelines. They went on to further say there is no age restriction on this series of cruises to Alaska, but guests of all ages must be fully vaccinated. So to me, that means that children under 12 cannot sail and that children over 12 who choose to get the vaccine can sail. I think that we're probably going to hear more information about this. It sounds like they're going to require that they're fully vaccinated and they're not going to take advantage of the 5% that the CDC had previously said they'd allow. They said they'd allow you to start cruises immediately if 95% of your passengers are vaccinated. Now, maybe those 5% could be children. It's not looking like it with Princess, but we'll see what happens. This is all just really very much breaking news, all very much developing, and the cruise lines are just anticipating that bill is going to be signed. Another thing that's been significant over the last week or two is the significant easing of cruising restrictions and requirements for people who are going to be fully vaccinated. The CDC said this week that fully vaccinated passengers who choose to go on a cruise do not have to be tested for COVID on embarkation day. It also means that if you're staying on board for a back-to-back cruise, which we hear is also going to be allowed, you don't have to test in those situations as well. So they're really pulling back on the testing. And in addition to that, they've also announced that they're really pulling back on those masking requirements for vaccinated passengers and that masks will not be required outside unless there's, major crowd situations. Celebrity Cruises also announced this week that vaccinated passengers can go ashore on their cruises. I'm assuming they're talking about the ones out of St. Martin and some other places outside of the U.S., but they've made the decision that if you have a vaccine, you do not have to go on cruise line sponsored shore excursions. You can just go ashore and do what you want to do. It'll be interesting to see, since Celebrity made that decision, will we see Royal Caribbean make that decision for Adventure of the Seas, cruising out of the Bahamas? So many questions, so many answers, so much excitement. Cruising is coming back. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. We have some really exciting travel coming up. So I'd like to invite you to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at CruiseTipsTV. We're very, very easy to find. Follow along our posts and our stories over there. So much good stuff happening. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm super excited for the Alaska season. Until next time, we'll see you on the Until next time, we'll see you on the high seas. Bye-bye.